Limited garden space? Stop growing outward and start growing upward. These 10 perennial vines produce food year after year while taking up less than 1 square foot of ground space. Small spaces are the future of gardening. Urban balconies, tiny yards, narrow side yards. These are the new gardens. If you're limited on space, vertical growing isn't optional, it's essential. But most guides focus on annual vegetables you replant every year. What if you could plant once and harvest for decades? That's the power of perennial edible climbing vines. Plant them once. Train them up. Harvest for 20, even 50 years. Today I'm showing you the top 10 perennial edible climbing vines for small vertical gardens. These produce real food, fruits, vegetables, edible flowers, while taking up minimal ground space. Before we start, comment below, how much garden space do you have? I want to know your situation. And if you're serious about maximizing food production in limited space, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's start with the most productive perennial climber you've probably never considered. Vine 1. Hardy Kiwi. The cold climate fruit machine. Hardy Kiwi is one of the most productive perennial vines you can grow. A mature vine produces 50 to 100 pounds of fruit annually. Unlike fuzzy grocery store kiwis, hardy kiwis have smooth, edible skin. You eat them whole like grapes. Grape-sized, incredibly sweet, packed with vitamin C. Why it's perfect for vertical gardens. Vines grow 20 feet but need only 12 to 18 inches of ground space. 50 pounds of fruit from 18 inches. Incredible return. Cold hardy to minus 25 degrees. Zones 4 to 8. Low maintenance once established. Growing basics. Full sun 6 to 8 hours. Strong trellis. Vines become heavy. Plant male and female for pollination. One male pollinates 8 females. Timeline. Years 1 to 2. Establishment. Year 3, first harvest. Year 5, plus, full production, 50 to 100 pounds. Best varieties. Ananasnaya, Anna. Most popular, best flavor. Geneva, extra cold hardy, meter. Best male pollinator harvest, late September. Fruits ripen after picking in store for weeks. Hardy Kiwi is the gold standard for productive perennial vines in small spaces. Vine 2, grapes. The classic vertical edible. Grapes are the ultimate perennial vertical edible. A single grapevine produces 20 to 30 pounds annually while occupying less than 2 square feet of ground. Why grapes are perfect? Kabo, thousands of years of proven vertical cultivation, 50 to 100 year lifespan, multiple uses, fresh, raisins, juice, wine, edible leaves, adapts to any vertical structure. Growing basics. Full sun, 6 to 8 hours minimum. Strong horizontal wire support. Space vines 4 to 6 feet apart. Deep watering during fruit development. Timeline. Years 1 to 2. Training, no fruit. Year 3. First small harvest, 5 to 10 pounds. Year 4 plus, full production, 20 to 30 pounds. Variety selection by zone. Cold hardy, zones 4 to 5. Concord, Frontenac, Valiant. Moderate, zones 6 to 7. Canadas, Niagara, Marquise. Warm, zones 8 to 10. Flame seedless, Thompson seedless. Key maintenance. Annual winter pruning. Remove 90% of previous year's growth. Seems drastic but essential for production. Visual, proper pruning demonstration. Container growing. Works in 25-gallon pots minimum. For proven long-term production, grapes are unbeatable. Vine 3. Passionflower. Exotic fruit in small spaces. Passionflower produces spectacular flowers and exotic fruits that taste like tropical paradise, and cold hardy varieties grow in zones 6 to 10. Why it's perfect. Rapid growth, 10 to 20 feet per season, stunning ornamental flowers plus edible fruit, perfect for containers on balconies, attracts pollinators. Growing basics. Full sun for best fruiting, tendrils cling to wire or trellis naturally. 1 vine per 12 to 18 inches, regular water during growing season. Timeline. Year 1, often flowers and fruits first season, Year 2 plus. Full production, 20 to 50 fruits. Varieties. Cold hardy, zones 6 to 8. Passiflora incarnata, maypop. Warm, zones 9 to 10. Passiflora edulis, purple passion fruit. Container tip. Minimum 15-gallon pot. Move to protection in winter in cold climates. Fruits drop when ripe. Pick from ground or use netting. For exotic fruits and spectacular flowers, Passionflower is unbeatable. Vine 4. Hops. Visual, vigorous hops growing up strings, developing hop cones. Harvest. Hops. The homebrewer's vertical garden. Hops grow 12 to 25 feet in a single season, die back in winter, return stronger each spring. Famous for brewing but also edible in multiple ways. Why they're perfect. Fastest vertical coverage, instant privacy screen, multiple harvests, hop cones, young shoots like asparagus, leaves for tea, dies back cleanly, no winter maintenance, grows straight up on strings with minimal width. Growing basics. Full sun, 6 to 8 hours. Tall poles or strings, 12 to 15 feet minimum. Twines clockwise naturally, 1 plant per 2 feet. Timeline. Year 1, light harvest. Year 2, moderate production. Year 3 plus, full production, 1 to 2 pounds dried hops. Varieties. Cascade, most popular citrusy centennial. Floral notes, golden hops. Bright yellow foliage, ornamental harvest. Hop cones in August-September when papery. Young shoots in spring when 6 to 8 inches tall. For rapid growth and multiple harvests, hops are exceptional. Vine 5, Malabar spinach. Heat-loving climbing green. Malabar spinach isn't true spinach, but it fills the same role. Unlike regular spinach that bolts in heat, Malabar thrives in hot weather. Why it's perfect. Grows when regular spinach dies from heat. Continuous leaf harvest all summer. Ornamental with glossy leaves and colorful stems. Minimal ground space needed. Growing basics. Full sun to partial shade. Light trellis or string support. 1 plant per 12 to 18 inches. Regular water in hot weather. Timeline. First harvest. 50 to 70 days from seed. Continuous production through warm season. Varieties. Green-stemmed, milder flavor, red-stemmed, rubra, more ornamental. Container, perfect in 5-gallon pots for balconies. Perennial. Zones 10 to 11, it returns from roots. Elsewhere grow as annual or overwinter indoors. Pick young leaves and tips continuously. Cook like spinach. Stir-fries, soups, sautés. For continuous greens in hot weather, Malabar spinach is the answer. 5 perennial vines down, and we've covered enough to transform small spaces into serious food production. If you're excited about vertical gardening, hit that like button now. The next 5 include some surprising options. Let's keep going. Vine 6, Chayote. The prolific climbing squash. Chayote is a perennial climbing squash producing 50 to 100 fruits per season. Unlike annual squash, Chayote returns from tuberous roots in warm climates. Why it's perfect. Extreme productivity. 1 plant feeds a family, covers 20 to 30 feet rapidly, multiple edibles, fruits, shoots, leaves, roots, perennial in zones 8 to 11. Growing basics. Full sun, 6+ hours. Very strong trellis, heavy with fruit, 1 plant per 6 to 8 feet. Consistent moisture during fruiting. Planting. Plant entire fruit at 45-degree angle, stem end up, half buried. The fruit itself sprouts. Timeline. First season. Production begins 150 to 180 days after planting. Second season, earlier, heavier production. Climate. Perennial in zones 8 to 11. Mulch heavily in zone 7. Grow as annual in colder zones. Using Chayote. Eat raw in salads. Cook like summer squash. Stuff and bake. Pickle. Young shoots and leaves cook like greens. For extreme productivity, Chayote is remarkable. Vine 7. Arctic kiwi. Extreme cold-hardy edible. Arctic kiwi survives to minus 40 degrees. If you thought you couldn't grow kiwi in cold climates, this is your answer. Why it's perfect. Extreme cold hardiness, zones 3 to 8. Ornamental variegated foliage on male plants, sweet grape-sized fruits, more compact than hardy kiwi, 8 to 15 feet. Growing basics. Full sun for fruit, moderate trellis or fence, plant male and female. One male pollinates several females, space females 2 feet apart. Timeline. Years 1 to 2, establishment, years 3 to 4, first fruits, year 5 plus, full production, 5 to 10 pounds per female. Varieties. Krups Perry, female. Reliable Red Beauty, female. Reddish skin Pasha, male. Spectacular variegation. Container. Works in 15-gallon pots. Harvest September-October when soft. Small but intensely sweet, sweeter than regular kiwi. Male plants with pink variegation are stunning even without fruit. For cold climate exotic fruits, Arctic kiwi is the answer. Vine 8. Akebia. The unusual edible ornamental. Akebia produces unusual edible fruits tasting like a cross between banana, passion fruit, and mango. Exotic, ornamental, and surprisingly cold hardy. Why it's perfect. Cold hardy zones 4 to 9. Unique flavor unlike anything you can buy. Ornamental with chocolate-scented flowers, fast-growing 15 to 20 feet. Growing basics. Full sun to part shade, trellis, arbor, or fence. Twining vines, self-supporting. One plant per 4 to 6 feet. Timeline. Years 1 to 2. Possible light fruiting. Year 3 plus, regular fruiting. 5 to 20 fruits depending on pollination. Pollination. Plant 2 different species or varieties for best fruiting. Container. Works in 15-gallon pots but reduced fruiting. Harvest September to October. When fruits split open, scoop out white interior. Sweet, complex, tropical flavor. Caution. Can be aggressive in ideal conditions. Monitor and prune as needed. For unusual exotic fruits in cold climates, Akebia is fascinating. Vine 9. Perennial climbing beans. Annual production, perennial roots. Most people only know annual beans, but several species are perennial in warm climates or can be grown as perennials with winter protection. Best varieties. Scarlet runner beans. Perennial zones 7 to 10, annual elsewhere. Brilliant red-orange flowers, edible hummingbird magnets. Large, flavorful beans, grows from tuberous roots multiple years. Hyacinth bean. Perennial zones 10 to 11, annual elsewhere. Purple flowers and purple pods, young pods edible when cooked. Why they're perfect. Rapid growth 12 to 15 feet per season. Extended harvest, continuous production, nitrogen fixation improves soil. Dual purpose, beautiful flowers plus edible pods. Growing basics. Full sun, 6 to 8 hours. Poles, strings, or trellis. One plant per 6 to 12 inches. Regular water during flowering. Growing as perennials. Warm climates, leave roots in ground. Cold climates, dig tuberous roots, store like dahlias, replant spring. Container. Perfect in 5-gallon pots. For colorful continuous harvests, perennial beans are outstanding. Vine 10. Perennial peas. The forgotten edible climber. Perennial peas produce edible shoots, flowers, and young pods year after year. Not as sweet as garden peas, but productive, beautiful, and truly perennial. Why they're perfect. True perennial. Returns reliably. Zones 5 to 9. Low maintenance once established. Ornamental masses of flowers, multiple edibles, shoots, flowers, young pods. Nitrogen fixation improves soil. Growing basics. Full sun to part shade, light trellis or fence. Climbs with tendrils, one plant per 18 to 24 inches. Important. Do not confuse with sweet peas. Lathyrus odoratus, which are toxic. Perennial peas are Lathyrus latifolius. Timeline: Year 1, light production. Year 2, plus heavy flowering and shooting. Harvest: shoots. Harvest young tips, cook like asparagus flowers, edible in salads. Young pods, harvest very young and tender. Self-seeds moderately but easy to control. For low-maintenance perennial edibles with beauty, perennial peas are underrated. Designing your vertical garden. Now let's talk about designing your vertical garden for maximum production. Assess your space. What do you have? Fences, walls, balcony railings, arbors, trellises, posts. Measure height, width, and depth available. Understand sun exposure. Track sun at different times. Full sun vines, kiwi, grapes, hops, need 6 to 8 hours. Partial shade tolerant, Akebia, peas, Malabar spinach, 4 to 6 hours. Choose appropriate support. Light structures. String, wire, bamboo. 4. Beans, peas, Malabar spinach, medium structures. Wire panels, lattice, chain link. 4. Hops, Passionflower, Akebia, heavy structures. Thick posts with wires, metal arbors. 4. Grapes, kiwi, chayote. Plan for harvest access. Keep fruit zones within reach, 6 to 7 feet maximum. Leave access paths. Consider stepladder access. Combine vines strategically. Pair early plus late producers. Layer different vertical zones. Combine nitrogen fixers with heavy feeders. Sample designs. 8-foot fence. Depth. 2 hardy kiwi vines, male plus female, equals 50 to 100 pounds fruit. Passionflower between equals 20 to 40 fruits plus flowers. Beans at base for first years. Balcony railing, 12 feet. 3 5-gallon containers with beans. 2 15-gallon containers with passionflower. Vertical string trellis, pergola, 10 by 10 feet. 4 grape vines, 1 per post. Hops on 2 posts for summer screen. Perennial peas as understory. Container minimums. Small vines, beans, peas, 5 to 10 gallons. Medium vines, passionflower, Malabar spinach, 10 to 15 gallons. Large vines, grapes, kiwi, 20 to 30 plus gallons. Key principles: match vine to space and support strength. Plan for long-term growth. Design for easy access. Layer for maximum production. Seasonal maintenance. Perennial vines are relatively low maintenance. Here's the annual cycle. Spring. Remove winter protection. Prune dead wood. Feed with compost. Tie new growth to supports. Specific. Finish grape pruning before buds break. Kiwi pruning and training. Summer. Train growth onto supports. Thin fruit on heavy bearers. Water deeply during dry periods. Harvest beans, shoots, greens continuously. Fall. Main harvest season. Stop fertilizing 6 to 8 weeks before frost. Clean up fallen fruit. Begin dormant pruning after leaf drop. Mulch in cold climates. Winter. Complete dormant pruning. Grapes, kiwi. Inspect and repair support structures. Plan next season. Annual pruning. Grapes. Remove 90% of previous season's growth. Leave 4 to 6 buds per spur. Kiwi. Shorten side shoots to 3 to 4 buds. Remove excess growth. Hops. Cut to ground after frost. Passionflower. Light pruning to control size. Beans and peas. Minimal pruning needed. Pest management. Prevention. Proper spacing. Clean up debris. Disease-resistant varieties. Common issues. Japanese beetles. Handpick. Neem oil. Powdery mildew, air circulation, baking soda spray, aphids, water spray, insecticidal soap. Maintenance bottom line. Established perennial vines need 2 to 4 hours spring, 1 hour monthly summer, 2 to 3 hours fall, 2 to 4 hours winter pruning. Total, 15 to 25 hours annually. For multiple vines producing for decades, 10 perennial edible vines producing food year after year from minimal ground space. Which vine are you most excited about? Drop a comment. Make sure you're subscribed. Maximizing small spaces is what this channel does. Your action plan. Let's create your action plan. Step 1. Assess space. 15 minutes. Document. Available vertical space with measurements, sun exposure hours, support structures needed, ground space for roots, container versus in-ground options. Step 2. Choose 1 to 3 vines, 10 minutes. If you want. Maximum production, hardy kiwi, grapes, chayote. Quick results, beans, Malabar spinach, passionflower. Cold climate, Arctic kiwi, grapes, hops. Warm climate, chayote, Malabar spinach, passionflower, unique, Akebia. Arctic kiwi, perennial peas. Beginner friendly. 1. Scarlet runner beans 2, grapes 3, Malabar spinach. Step 3. Install support 1 to 4 hours. Simple. String trellis, bamboo teepee 1 hour. Moderate. Wire panels, lattice 2 to 3 hours. Advanced. Wire trellis with posts, arbor 4+ hours. Step 4. Source plants 1 to 2 weeks lead time. For rooted plants, specialty fruit nurseries, local garden centers, online suppliers. Recommended. Rain Tree Nursery, Stark Bros, One Green World. 4 Seeds. Seed Savers Exchange, Baker Creek, Johnny's Selected Seeds. Step 5. Plant and establish, 2 to 3 hours per vine. Dig hole 2 times the width of root ball. Amend with compost. Plant at proper depth. Water thoroughly. Mulch 3 to 4 inches, attached to support. First season. Water deeply 1 to 2 times weekly. Light monthly fertilizing. Train growth. Remove first-year flowers on fruiting vines. Timeline expectations. Year 1. Establishment, minimal harvest. Year 2. Light production begins. Year 3 to 5. Production increases annually. Year 5 plus. Full production for decades. Budget. Minimal, under $100. Seeds plus simple trellis plus amendments equals $40 to $70. Moderate, $200 to $400. 2 to 3 rooted vines plus mid-level trellis plus containers plus soil equals $185 to $375. Serious, $500 to $1,000+. Multiple premium vines plus heavy trellis plus large containers plus irrigation equals $450 to $1,050. Return on investment. Hardy kiwi producing 75 pounds annually. Store price, $3 to $5 per pound. Annual value, $225 to $375 over 20 years. $4,500 to $7,500. Initial investment, $30 to $50. The math is compelling. And there you have it. The top 10 perennial edible climbing vines for small vertical gardens, plus everything you need to grow them successfully. From hardy kiwi and grapes to exotic passionflower and unusual Akebia, these perennial vines transform small spaces into productive food gardens that produce for decades. Plant once, harvest for a lifetime. Small spaces don't limit you. They just require vertical thinking. With perennial vines, you're building edible landscapes that increase in value every year. Here's what to do right now. First, hit that like button if this opened your eyes to vertical growing possibilities. Second, comment which vine you're starting with and your vertical space situation. And third, subscribe and turn on notifications for space-efficient gardening strategies. Next week, building ultimate vertical garden support structures that last decades. Thanks for watching. Now assess your vertical space, choose your vines, and start building your permanent food-producing system. The future of gardening is vertical, and with perennial vines, it's incredibly productive. Happy vertical gardening!